Hi.
Hello.
Hello, person who lives in my house
I know. Hello from the other side of the house.
for only a limited time because we are moving about this motherfucker.
We about to be gone, and I am so excited. I'm
I'm
so.
excited also. I'm excited, you know why? Because people are gonna see a whole different background when they
Hmm.
see the podcast, and I feel like they're gonna be kinda like, "Ooh, what they doing?" And the answer is getting the fuck out of the Northeast.
And I don't even know what the new backgrounds are going to look like. It's going to be a surprise for all of us.
It's gonna be cute,
Yeah, I know
and
that.
the point is that we're not Yankees. We're not no Yankee blacks, and I just don't think that Yankee blackness is for us. You know what? And you know what? I like this because where we're starting at, it fits with the episode because we're moving. This is season 8, episode 7 of That Black Couple. And we are moving away from toxic relationships. And I want to emphasize that moving away from toxic relationships includes relationships with employers, with the land and your communities, with lovers and platonic lovers and friends, family members. Okay. We're not just talking about sex today. Toxicity can show up in myriad ways, and we're going
Yes,
to
it
talk
can.
about all of it today. So please sit down, grab your water. Where yours at? Oh, good job, Dan. Mm-hmm. We 40 plus. We have to hydrate. Okay. Have a seat. This is That Black Couple. I'm Jen.
Darren?
Before we get started, make sure you follow us on Instagram at That BLK Couple, on Facebook at That Black Couple. Don't forget we are now on Threads as well at That BLK Couple, and look us up on the internet at www.thatblackcouple.com.
And I'm going to try not to ASMR y'all this time because I did the last time. But you can stream our episodes everywhere podcasts are streamed, and y'all already know that. But more importantly, you need to go find us on the YouTube. Go listen to us, go watch us on the YouTube. We will elevate the experience when you see the facial expressions, when you see our beautiful, beautiful faces. Um, it just means that much more. And make sure you subscribe too.
Please subscribe and tell your friends about our podcast. Stop just telling people about these big ass podcasts that have existed for the last 15 years. These regular podcasts, us regular niggas need podcast support too. Anyway. Let's get started, Aaron. Okay. We are talking about moving away from toxic relationships. And this is a part of our comeback into season 8 of talking about kind of more adult things and responding to what folks have been asking us to talk about. Let's get started with first things first, the first segment, and talk about how we came to the episode. Would you like me to begin?
I would love for you to begin.
Okay. Because y'all niggas know I be on social media. Um, and I see a lot of things that I like and that I share that come from, therapists and healers and other, motivational sources. And I've been seeing a lot of posts that have been resonating with me. Okay. And one in particular was one I saw recently, and it was someone who was like, have you ever blocked someone and never see them again? And then your body is like, exactly. Right. Because they wasn't really in your life, and if I hit the block button and I never see you again, maybe we wasn't really that close, right? And I really think that post resonated with me because we talk all the time about how I'm the black queen. I will block you. I will block you. I will block you, right? You don't have to do a lot to piss me off, for me to block you. Um, Namely because I don't go on social media to be harassed by strangers. I don't go on social media to be fighting with people. And I'm not at work.
Nope.
I'm not on the clock, right? And so if you are demanding free labor from me or being annoying in any kind of way, you will get blocked. But that also counts for people who I know in real life who show up on social media in ways that are kind of trash. And so I saw that and I was like, oh, you know what? I don't feel bad about blocking y'all niggas. It's like that Black Mirror episode where you block somebody and they just turn into like a gray shadow in real life. You know what I'm saying? Something else I saw that I thought was really, really dope recently, they were talking about it was a therapist who was saying that as you grow, you outgrow past versions of yourself, but you also outgrow the relationships that your past versions had with others. And that was really helpful for me because as I turned 40, I noticed that I was kind of like air quotes losing relationships with people. A lot of friendships were ending. A lot of connections that I thought were important to me were going away and over really silly reasons, like over really weird stuff. And as it was happening, I was starting to realize, oh, wait, I was accepting a lot of treatment back then that I just don't accept anymore. I was accepting kind of lukewarm care, and I was not holding up my boundaries in ways that were healthy. So this was actually a toxic relationship where they only liked me because I was allowing them to step all over me and to disrespect me. And that's not a real relationship. That's a violation.
Yep, and I've been there a number of times. And I think it's funny too because when you do outgrow those relationships and those situations and those people, it can be so jarring for the other party because they've gotten so used to and so comfortable in whatever that situation was. You change it up, and they're just like, "What what the hell is this? What are we doing?
They don't like you.
Bring back the old you. I liked that. This new one is
Mhm.
not cool with me, right?" And but that's the way of life. It's like it's letting these people go, moving on to new phases, new better versions of yourself. Um, I know for me, that's shown up a lot in friendships. Um, I know for a long time I kind of viewed my life like in phases by like who my friends were. And so like I would have these friends and we'd be so cool and we'd hang out and we'd do all this cool stuff. And then one day I'd be like, that's dead. And then, it's like on to the next. And it's like no disrespect to you. I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to throw no type of shade. But also like this just ain't it no more. Like I see the things that y'all doing. I see the words that you say. I see the way that y'all move. And that doesn't fit with who I am and where I'm going and who I am going to become. And so
Mhm.
I gotta release it, and that's cool, and that's okay, and I would also argue that it's good for both parties too, right?
Yes.
Like because I think sometimes you leaving a situation that's toxic also signals to that other party that there was something toxic here, and gives them an opportunity to fix it too.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been thinking about this a lot. I think about this is a weird analogy, but you know how one day you wake up and you like, I can't eat a Sizzler no more.
Yeah.
The last time you put that little rubbery steak in your mouth and you was like,
Mm.
this don't taste good. This don't taste
I went
good.
I went to
You
hometown buffet one time, and I was like, nah.
no, right? You sit down home to buffet, you get a big beef burrito supreme from Taco Bell or
Mm.
something. You go to McDonald's, you get a double quarter pounder, and you have all these regrets, these regrets, you just regrets, right? And you be like, wait a minute, this is not for me. This is a toxic relationship. And I think it's so funny because like I know that those things are not really what we're talking about, but they are, right? Because we are really talking in this episode about listening to your body and honoring your boundaries and honoring your growth, right? There are ways that your body's like, hey, no. And if you don't listen, your body will show you, and your body will show you in stress from your job. The body will show you in being exhausted after having a conversation with someone who's harmful and toxic and selfish, right? We'll talk about all the ways it shows up, but like if you're eating food that doesn't serve your body in ways that you need, it'll show you, right? These are all toxic relationships. And I think that as we get older now, us being over 40, we're just able to recognize them better. Like we have more discernment,
Yeah.
you know? And I think it's important for us to talk about, especially as Black folk.
Yeah. And I'm ready to do it. I'm ready for us to jump all the way in and go all the way in on this. I think this is an incredibly important episode. And I think what you said is also true as well. Like people need to realize we might talk about like a relationship with a person, but it's a relationship to food. It's a relationship to your exercise regimen. It's a relationship to how you spend your free time.
And your money.
It's a relationship to your money, to your employer. It's a relationship is a relationship.
That's right. Let's talk about it.
Let's do it.
You ready? Okay, let's go to the conversation.
All right. So, as always, the conversation, I love to start off a conversation. I love to talk about some facts and some figures.
Mhm.
I had a meeting earlier today and I was like, I just love numbers, y'all. I'm sorry. And I got to get it right. I got to do it the right way. And this is the right way. Not a lot for this one, but I found a figure that I thought was incredibly interesting. And it was that an average of 80% of Americans have experienced a toxic friendship. So that means 20% of us are walking around saying, I've only had great relationships. Ain't nobody been mean to me. Ain't nobody been terrible. It's been great from day one, right? 20% of us feel like that. But what makes it more interesting is they broke this down on a gender binary. And so that 80%, when you split it on a gender binary, that's 84% of women have had a toxic friendship and 75% of men have had a
Hmm.
toxic friendship.
Hmm.
And I read that and I immediately said bullshit.
Bullshit.
I said that's bullshit. Number one, because we just did our episode on toxic masculinity, and we know men are toxic as fuck, right? But when you think about that number, right, 75% of men, it's like, okay, that means there's a healthy number of men that are probably in some type of toxic friendship and aren't even able to recognize it as such.
Yes.
That's what that number says to me. And even that overall 80% number, that's a good
Yeah.
number of people that haven't even
Yeah.
recognized the toxic relationships that they've been in. And I think that
Yeah.
that's why this episode is so important, is for us
Yeah.
to be able to recognize these bad situations that we're in. Like, what are the signs? How can we realize, oh, this is fucked up what I'm walking into right now?
Yeah. No, I think a couple things. So y'all know I love talking about Nedra Tawwab's book, Setting Boundaries, Finding Peace. And that book was really one of the ways that first started me thinking about what it means for me to show up for myself. And Pretty Simple says that boundaries are ways for you to love yourself and someone else simultaneously, right? This is it's the distance at which we can love ourselves and others, right? People think that boundaries are punishments because they want to usurp, right? They want to exploit. But a boundary is actually saying, no, I do love you and I do want to show up for you, but I also have to take care of myself because I'm a person and I matter. And so I think we have to give examples of what toxicity looks like, right? So I want to talk about a couple of the ways you can recognize a toxic relationship. And this is not just, again, to reiterate, this is not just about romantic relationships. This is also about platonic connections. So, best friends, friends, childhood friends. This is about familial relationships, siblings, parents, aunts, uncles, all of that extended family. It's also about your relationship to your job or to social media and electronics or to money, right? And so, some of the things I just want to talk about five things, and I saw a whole list, but these were the ones I think for me, I was like, oh, nah, right? Because it hit home and it made me realize why some of these relationships I had ended. So the first one is breadcrumbing. And I think a lot of people associate breadcrumbing with narcissistic behaviors. And to be clear, narcissistic behaviors are not synonymous with narcissistic personality disorder. Right? NPD is a diagnosable disorder that is has a certain checklist of characteristics for one to qualify as saying that they have that. Narcissistic behaviors anyone can have them, right? People display them all the time, right? Um, and the reason why breadcrumbing is often associated with narcissistic behaviors is because when people breadcrumb or when institutions breadcrumb, I'll say like Target is a good example, right? They may give you just enough of what you need, right? But never enough so that you're fully satiated or satisfied, right? Think about it this way. When you're eating bread, you want bread, right? You don't want the crumbs, right?
Right.
And so you get the taste of the bread if you get the crumbs, but you're not getting no bread, right? And so, for example, when Target says, oh, Black people, we're going to put your stuff in the front of the store, but we're also going to roll back DEI, right? That's a breadcrumbing relationship. That is a toxic relationship. It's a relationship where they are not actually showing up in material ways for Black folk, but they're also keeping Black folk tethered to them. This shows up in romantic relationships all the time. I think about men doing this all the time from when I used to date men. But, they'll call you once and then say a few words and then ghost you and disappear and then pop back up. And there's women I've dated who've done this too. And I've had to say, hey, listen, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this thing where I don't talk to you for 2 weeks and then all of a sudden you're so interested in it. That's weird. That is breadcrumbing and it's toxic. And what it does is it keeps someone attached to you and it's very selfish when you could just let me go off and live my life and engage with people who actually want to show up for me fully.
So so that's like you're talking about it, and to me, what comes to mind is when you hear someone talking about a relationship, and you go, "Well, at least they blank." Right? Like, I got this job, and they treat me terribly, and the hours are horrible, and it makes it so I can't get good sleep at night. But at least I got good dental coverage.
At least I got them good benefits.
Like no, that's not good enough, right? But it keeps you tied because you're like, well, I am getting a little bit, right? And so it would be selfish of me, right, to think that I deserve more. No, you do deserve more.
You do deserve more. That's right. You deserve to feel satisfied. Right? You deserve to have people and institutions show up in ways that fully meet your needs.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
And it's a fallacy that we are often socialized, especially as Black folk, as Black queer folk, as Black women, and gender expansive people and disabled folk, right? Because we're used to settling. We're used to not having access to buildings when we need them. We're used to not being able to get to the educational systems that we need and having to work harder for that, right? We're used to having to work extra hard at work to get the same pay or less? And so then we settle for it because we're like, well, at least I got a job, right? But the truth is that we should be able to find a job that actually pays us well, allows us to get the rest, and then we go to work and they treat us with respect and dignity.
right.
That shouldn't be a huge ask, right? Another one that really resonated for me because this has happened to me in a lot of situations with friends. Like friends who I thought were best friends is when they're able to celebrate you, but only insofar as they're also celebrating themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, again, I gave my disclaimer about narcissism. And this is why I also want to put this in conversation with institutions, 'cause I think institutions are really good at this, right? I've worked at a lot of corporate jobs where they will put you up and say, "Employee of the week," but then what they're really saying is, "Oh my gosh, your manager really set you up for a success, and somehow your boss gets a raise too for the work you did, and like somehow your team is getting all the credit for the work you did," and you like, "Wait." Y'all wasn't sitting there when I was busting my ass and when I was like half dead and falling asleep and answering phones and sending emails at 5 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Like there's this way that especially for Black folk, when we win or when we achieve, there is this credit taking that often happens with other community members. White folk are real good for taking credit from Black folk. Real good at that. Like they really like saying, well, actually, maybe it was us. I love when folks like try to talk about slavery and they say, well, we freed y'all.
Thank you.
So we didn't never resist nothing. We didn't fight at all. We wasn't in those Civil War II. We wasn't dying. You know what I'm saying? And that's really a violent thing. It's a really violent and toxic way to engage with people. And if someone in your life, right, if a friend is saying that to you, what they're really saying is, I don't actually think you show up in a way that you deserve any credit. I don't actually think that you have the value that you think you have. I actually think it's like Galinda, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Uh-huh.
And yeah, when she specifically tells Elphaba, I actually think that you're overstating your skills, boo. We're not friends.
Mm-mm.
We're not friends. You're overestimating yourself? Who says that to someone who they care about? Nobody. Nobody who cares about you will tell you, "Oh, you got your britches. You need to humble yourself." Nobody says that when they actually love you, right? They're not seeking to humble you. The other one, and I think I wanna actually hear from you on this one, right? Because this one I actually have had happen to both of us, and it's mainly been by, I think men do this a lot, um, humiliating people in public.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's this thing where, instead of having, like, adult conversations and being accountable and showing up in responsible ways, folks who are toxic like to embarrass you outside. They'll be nice to you inside. They'll say all the great things to you to keep you, again, tethered, right? But then you go out the door and then all of a sudden they're telling your business to people, or they're putting you on blast, or, them reply all niggas at work? I hate a reply all nigga. Karen, tell me about them. I know you listen, I know, you done told me about the reply alls, so I would love to hear from you.
Well, the thing about the thing about humiliation that's really really dark to me is people do that, and the expectation is that you will be too good of a person. You will be too nice, too gentle, and too kind to call them out on their humiliation.
Mhm.
And then if you do call them out on that humiliation, immediately they backtrack and then flip it on you like, "Oh, well, why did you I wasn't trying,
Oh,
I
I would
wasn't
never.
why would you think that I," right? It's because you did it. That's why I thought it. I thought it because you did it.
Don't play in my face. Don't play in my face.
And that's the thing, it's so dark and so sinister of a thing to do that to you and then want to keep you around, right? So, like, if you really love and care for someone, why would you ever want to humiliate them? Why would you ever want to inflict that on somebody? You can only do that to someone that you actually don't give a shit about, right? Or someone
Yes.
that you actually hate and want to hurt, right?
Yes.
But then people want to keep you around so they can keep doing that and keep inflict. It's like you want to keep a punching bag around to take your feelings out on, and it's like when you know your worth and when you know who you are and what you're gonna stand around for and what you will not, right? Putting those people on blast is the best thing.
Yes.
Leaving those
And this is
people
what
in the
I'll say.
dust, amazing.
And this is what I will also say. There is a specific phenomenon of you tell your personal and private information to someone who you trust, and they take that specific thing because they know it hurts you, and they use that to humiliate you. And that is, to me, I'm like, we're never speaking again,
Yeah,
right? Like, if I divulge this information to you in confidence, in a way that says, I trust you and I believe that you have integrity, and that you are an ethical person, that you will hold this secret from me in a way that does not do harm and damage to me, and then you use it to hurt me, child. Listen, your whole house can burn down. I'm not. Listen, the Virgo in me is like, "You're dead now." You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? And I think there's not enough people who are willing to say that, to be like, "Well, fuck you." You know what I'm saying? Like, no, don't give that person another chance. Don't give that institution another chance. Don't allow folks, and this is where we have to talk about boundaries, right? Like, that's got to be a hard boundary where you say, "Nah, nah," because if you can do that, you can do it again. You know what I'm
and
saying?
likely will.
And likely will, and likely have done it before.
Yep.
So, this leads into the next one, right? The next one is comparison. And comparison is dangerous because as children, people say, "Oh, well, when people copy you, it's actually a compliment." You know what I'm saying? Like, when people copy you, that's the greatest form. No, the fuck it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's weird. It's strange. I'm triggered, right? You know why I'm triggered. I've dated people who over time have started to look like me. I've had partners, I've friends before who slowly start to look like me. I got a mama who done got piercings and tattoos that look like mine. And I'm like, absolutely the fuck not, right? Because I like the word you use, sinister. What's sinister about comparison is that while it looks like a compliment on the surface, what it really says is, I am so envious that I am trying to become you.
Yeah,
It's some single white female shit.
that's what I was gonna say. I wanna copy you and copy you and copy you, and then I want to remove you and replace you.
I would like to take your skin and just put it on like a jacket. Bitch, if you don't get the fuck, right? And I think that not enough of us see that as a red flag, and we should. And even not people who actually execute the comparison. I had a friend years ago who every time something good would happen for me, he would say, "Well, I feel like you're not being sensitive to me because those things aren't happening for me." Or I had another friend years ago, we would talk about stuff and she would get mad every time I brought up you and the kids because she didn't have a husband and children. And I'm like, so I'm supposed to never ever acknowledge my whole family, the people who came out of my body? I can't talk about them with you because you don't have children. That is weird.
It's weird.
That is weird. I know people who got millions of dollars, and I'm not like, you can never talk to me about money because how weird is that? That's weird. It's
And
weird.
it just shows that you're not really there for someone, you're not really their friend,
Right.
right? Because
Right.
there's entire parts of them that you don't wanna engage with at all.
Yeah.
So why are we here?
Why are we here? And also, like, I don't think you actually like me.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I had a falling out with someone last year who I was friends with for 10 years, and I fell out over you. You. She was mad about you. I said, "You know this man been around for 20 years. I don't know how you mad today. How are you mad in 2024 about a man I married in 2006? Because you've been mad the whole
The
time." You
whole
see what I'm
time.
saying? You've been mad the whole time, and you were waiting for your opportunity to make it a thing and make it seem like it was back and forth. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. And I think we have to be more careful about letting those things slide, right? We have to say, "Hey, listen, you don't get to switch up on me, right? You don't get to now make this a problem because this is a you problem." And that's where the big one comes in, right? This is all about accountability, right? A lot of the reasons why I think those numbers were different at the beginning that you shared, where women said that they had more toxicity than men, is because women are more likely to engage in processes of accountability. They're more likely to say, "Hey, I don't like how that feels. I don't like what you did. And if you're going to stay in my life, here's how you have to show up. I want you to be accountable to me." Whereas men are taught boys will be boys, that's just who he is, those types of lessons where they're more likely to accept harm and toxicity because accountability feels like disposability. It feels like if I hold someone accountable, they may never speak to me again, or they may think I'm a bad person, or I'm afraid of the kinds of feelings that might come up, and I don't want to deal with the confrontation and the accountability that comes up with that.
Wow. I mean, I think you're right. I think honestly, it's something that isn't discussed enough, that accountability is really the bedrock of any relationship. A lot of times we talk about communication and how important communication is, and that's true. But really kind of beneath that is accountability, right?
Yeah.
If there is no accountability, there is no solid foundation for a relationship. And again, like we said, that's for any relationship with your employer, with your kids, with your cousins, with with the institutions that you engage with the grocery store that you shop at. If there's no accountability, right? And you brought up Target earlier. Target's a great example. Target rolled back DEI, and black people said, "The fuck?
We said
What?"
bye. Bye.
And what did Target do? Nothing, right? So that's like, if they
No,
were really
actually,
accountable,
they they doubled, triple, quadrupled down,
right?
and they hired influencers to go to Essence Fest.
If they were accountable, if they were really accountable, they would have been like, you know what?
Read the
That
room.
was fucked up. We were trying to ride with you. We had a relationship, and we kind of fucked that up. We're gonna do some stuff to fix it. And we've seen other institutions have that type of engagement with the people, where they realize, you know what, we made a mistake, and we're going to fix it. We're going to be held
Yeah.
accountable for the thing that we did, right?
Yes.
And that's how you build a relationship, right? Like, you build strength and trust in a relationship by having that accountability, accounting for your mistakes, being able to hold someone accountable for their mistakes. It's that give and take, that push and that pull that builds that safety.
Yes,
If you ain't
and
got it, you ain't got it.
we have to put this in context with other industries and frameworks as well, right? I think about the writing world and academia, right? People have these writing heroes or whatever. And it's always so strange to me how, people don't acknowledge how awful Zora Neale Hurston was treated by other Black authors, right? The fact that there were Black men who trashed her, right? Richard Wright was one of the main ones who was like, we don't need this shit, and didn't support her work, and was part of the reason why she died destitute. You know what I'm saying? Ida B. Wells was not supported by W.E.B. Du Bois, right? So I appreciate that folks have this admiration for our Black ancestors and elders. But when they see what's happening now, right? They see Black authors who don't necessarily vibe now, they make it seem like it's something new, and it's not, right? The truth of the matter is that there's been a long history of folks not wanting to be accountable for the ways that they participate in systems that other Black people. And so when Black folk like Zora and Ida was like, hey, hey, that wasn't popular. James Baldwin has gotten dragged by the Black feminists, right? For some of the ways that he didn't show up in community. Martin Luther King got dragged by some of the Black feminists for some ways that he didn't show up in community. And I want to talk about this in respect to what we're seeing right now, right? We have to stop picking our favorite ponies or whatever, our favorite writers
Yep.
and this and this and this. And even like a Beyonce, right? Like Beyonce is not perfect. I love Beyonce. I think she's amazing. She's not perfect, right? We have to love folks critically, and love cannot exist without accountability, right? We cannot just appreciate people so much that they don't have to show up in ways that are integral, that in ways that are just, right? Like that allows abuse. That's what the Black feminists teach us. That's what Bell Hooks teaches us. If we don't hold folks accountable, we are asking them to abuse us. That's how it works.
That's how it works. And I will say that's a whole nother episode because
Yes,
there are
yes.
too many times that we allow that abuse and we normalize that abuse and we say that that abuse is okay and that that abuse is the way the world works and this is what we just are meant to endure the lies that we tell ourselves.
Like Negroes who are talking about the P. Diddy situation, and Negroes who talk about Tyler Perry, and Negroes who talk about Chris Brown, and you know what I'm saying? Like they are totally okay with the way that these folks are treating people as long as they get their little breadcrumb
Right.
fix over here.
Yep.
And that is nuts to me.
Yep. 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 Mhm.
Accountability does not have to be scary. Accountability to me is not scary. I love accountability. Hold me accountable. I love knowing how to love people properly. I love when people are like, "Hey, that didn't feel good, so I prefer this." Oh, great. You giving me the code? I want the cheat code. Why wouldn't
But
you want the cheat code?
but accountability is also vulnerability and it's also
Yeah.
maturity, right? You have to be able to be vulnerable to point out, "Hey, friend. Hey, so and so. Hey, whoever. I didn't like that. That hurt me. That made me feel away. That had a bad outcome for me." There's a
Yeah.
vulnerability in that. There's a you exposing yourself and putting yourself on the line. And then in being held accountable, you got to be able to say from a vulnerable place, "Oh man,
Yeah.
I made a mistake. I
Yeah.
fucked up. I did
Yeah.
something wrong, and I want to now rectify whatever that thing is." And like I
Yeah.
said, it's maturity. You got to be mature enough to have that much of a conversation and not
Yeah.
fall into any of those traps of like, well, I'm a man, so I can do what I want, or I want to protect my ego, or whatever it is that people do. There's so many traps you can fall into that allow you off ramps to escape
Yes.
accountability. You got to hold
Yes.
yourself accountable. Someone
Yes.
holding you accountable, you got to also hold yourself accountable.
Yes. And you have to recognize that if someone is being vulnerable enough to tell you, that means they actually care about you.
Exactly.
Okay.
You need to reflect because, wow.
Yes. Let's do it.
The thing for me about this, when we talk about these toxic relationships and what the signs are and how to deal with them, right? To me, this whole conversation, we're just talking about self worth. Right?
Yeah.
Like when you see yourself as worthy and valuable, right, you can go into these conversations and be vulnerable and say, "This
Yeah.
is what I need. This is what you're not giving me. This is the harm
Yeah.
that you're causing," right? Because you know that you are better than that. You know that you're above that, and this is a boundary that you've set, and this is something that you will not allow, right?
Yeah.
But it also allows you to say, like, it's almost like extending that worth to someone else, like, but I want you to be here with me, and I want you to see yourself as someone who won't do that, who won't be that person, right? I see you as someone who's not hurtful or harmful, at least not intentionally, or someone who
Absolutely.
wants to be that, right? And I'm pointing this out to
Abs
you so that you can check yourself, so that
absolutely.
you can better yourself because I care
Absolutely.
about you.
Absolutely. It's believing in someone's capacity for growth and change. It's saying, I think you can be a better version of yourself. Like I've always felt that way when folks challenge me and say, I think there's a better way you can show up. I'm like, whoa, thank you. Right. Thank you. You believe in me. Right. I think you're absolutely right. And, it resonates with me because I saw again social media. I saw this post where someone said, dang, I just realized I had this best friend for all these years and they didn't even like my ass. And and I've been really sitting, since being single for the past year and a half or so, and I've been sitting or even while that relationship was still going, coming to the relationship that I don't think she liked me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think she actually liked me, right? And you learn that when people ask you things like, "Can you be smaller?" Like, "Can you this is you're too much. That's too much. The way you're showing up, what you're asking for is too much. You want that kind of respect? I can't give that. You want that kind of care? I can't do that, right? So then why are you here? Why are you wasting my time?" And when you think about employers, employers do this all the time, right? Like they'll hire you and it's all exciting and it's big and shiny. And then they're like, okay, we lied. This is not a 40-hour-week job. It's an 80-hour-week job. Oh, you want that raise? We changed our mind, right? Like, it's like all these ways where it's like, you don't actually like me.
Yep.
Because if you liked me, you would want me to be well. If you liked me, you would want me to be paid properly for my labor, right? If you actually cared about me as a person, the individual person, and not the arms and brain that you need to do that particular work, you would pour into me and as a whole being. And since I started kind of sitting with that, like, do these motherfuckers like me? It makes you realize how many things you're in, and you like, y'all niggas don't like my ass. You don't actually like me, right? And that's okay. I don't have to be here. I don't have to be here. I don't have to be around folks who are lukewarm or middling or questioning, right? Because there's so many folks who are like, I do really think that you're amazing and I really want to be in your life. I want to see you grow and I'm invested in you. And they are reciprocating that same energy that I pour in. There are institutions. I think about Black Feminist Future, where I just joined, and it's been such a beautiful and meaningful relationship with this organization and everyone in it, right? And I'm like, "This is great. This is great." And you know what? That's how it should feel.
Right.
That's how it should feel. When you go into movement organizations, you should feel held. You should feel cared for. You should feel safe. And I want us to denormalize feeling unsafe. I want us to denormalize settling for a lack of safety and settling for a lack of care because we just don't know any better and we're afraid that we won't get any better. We should just demand better.
That's it. That's it, and that's the episode. Demand better.
Demand better.